Hello guys, my name is Karthik. So today we would quickly see on how to create a simple custom UDF in Hive. So let's start. So basically, what is a UDF first? So as we know, it stands for user-defined function. User-defined function lets you code your own application logic for processing. So in Hive, we do have the inbuilt functions, but they are like very much limited. We don't have like a huge amount of functions which could be used for different analysis purposes. You may actually land up in a scenario where you might need to write your own custom logic to analyze the data. So you basically might want to convert your null spaces in one of your table to a particular keyword. So this kind of functions may actually not be available in Hive, but these functions may actually be available in Java, right? It might also be available in some other database tools. So in that particular cases, you actually would go ahead and write your own custom Java program and then further use it as your personal UDF, right? So you can use UDF to simply query logic when producing reports or to transform data in flexible way when copying from one table to another, right? So let's see what we need for this. So yeah, first we need a Java tool. So basically I'm using the Java tool Eclipse over here. So Eclipse is web UI where you could just go ahead and load the jars and then write your own Java code, your Java program with the logic which you need, and then you could just compile it and then just create a .jar file out of it, right? So we basically need a .jar file which we will further load in your Beeline or in your Hive CLI to create the UDF, right? Uh, so in Eclipse, we need some jars to start with. So the first jar which we need is the Hadoop common jar. So this jar will actually exist under user HDP and the actual version of the HDP which you have installed under Hadoop, and that's it. That's where you will find the Hadoop common package. And we also need to load the Hive jars which you will find under the user HDP, your HDP version /hive/lib. So whatever libraries, the jars which you find under /lib, you just need to load all of them, right? And so the steps which we would be following, so we will just quickly create a new project in Eclipse. I'll just do a practical demonstration of all of this. That shouldn't be a problem. And then we will just load the necessary jars. So the Hadoop common and the Hive jars which we just gathered from the last step. And then we just need a Java logic. So you need to write your own Java logic. So today we would just use a small Java code which will actually try and convert the given argument, that's the given string, to a lowercase value, right? So, so the fourth step, this is quite important. So whenever you write your own UDF, whenever you try to write your own Java code, you just need to make sure you have these two things in place. So the first one is you need to create a class extending the UDF class and implement the evaluate function, right? So whatever logic you write, whatever Java program you write, it should contain at least one evaluate method, and that should be extending the class UDF. So that's how you write it. So you will see your Java code will start as import org apache hadoop hive ql dot execute dot UDF. So that's how your Java program will start. And once that's done, you will get .jar as a output, .jar as a file, which will actually contain your Java code. And then we will just try to load the jar into your Hive CLI or your Beeline, and then we will create the UDF. So there are like many other types of UDF as well, like aggregated UDF, UDF with like multiple arguments. But today we will just look into a plain simple UDF on how to create and execute it, right? We will be seeing the two types, that's the, not types basically, but a temporary function and a permanent function. We will do it in practically, right? So this is a temporary function. It will be better if I just showed you it in practical. Let's start. So here it is. Here's the Eclipse which I'm using. So first I will go ahead and quickly create a new project. Okay, so I'm just clicking over here and just click on a Java project. Let's give the Java project a name. Just click on finish. So once this has been created, just need to create a class. So just click on the src, just right click on new, then just click on class. So I just name my class as lower, since I'm writing a function to convert the given string into lowercase. You can just give any customized name, that should be fine. Click on finish. So once this is done, you can see the program has started over here. So now I just need to add the jars, as I said, right? So we need to load the Hadoop common and all the Hive jars. So I'm just clicking on, just right clicking on this particular class. Just go to just go to this build path, configure build path, click on libraries, click on add external jars. So I already have all the jars under the document sessions. So I'm just going ahead and loading all the jars over here. So here you can see I do have the Hadoop common, and all these other jars are basically the jars which present under the /hive/lib. So I'm just doing and adding all of them. Open. All the jars have been loaded. Let's just click on OK. I just copied the Java code. Let me just show you the Java code. So I'm just trying to move the lower.java, that's the class, under the package hive underscore UDF, right? So the moment I do it, all the errors are gone except this one. So this is my sample Java code, guys. So here the name of the package is hive underscore UDF, and as you can see I have imported the UDF class over here, and I have also implemented the method evaluate over here, right? So here if you see, so this to string, this is actually a Java function. So the argument which I would be passing, so in this case the argument would be the table's data. The data would first be converted into a string value, and then the given string would be converted to a lowercase value. So both these functions are actually Java functions. They are not a part of the Hive. So this is the logic which I would be using to create the .jar file, which further I would be using it under the beeline or the Hive CLI to create my UDF, right? So that is it. So once you have error free Java code over here, you just need to export it so that we could get a .jar file out of it. I just click on my class, just click on export, just click on Java, jar file, next, and that is it. So this is the name of my project. So my name of the project as well as the name of the package is the same. So just select both of them and just click on this jar file location. So this is the location where you would like to save your jar files. So I'm just saving it in, let's say, downloads, just naming it as, let's say, lower one dot jar. So once this is finished, we have the jar file in place. So just move that particular jar file which has been generated to one of your clusters node which has a Hive client installed in it, right? So let's go back to the terminal now. So mine is a Kerberos cluster, so yeah, I do have a ticket, a valid ticket. Let's go to Beeline. I'm just using the zookeeper string to connect. Okay, so everything is working. So I'm using the database cards over here, which has the sample data set. So let's use. So if you want to have a quick look on the existing UDF, right? Not the existing UDF, the existing built-in functions, we can call it. So just run show functions, and it will actually show you the functions which are available. So these are the functions which comes as a part of the Hive, which you could use and analyze your data, or do some analytical part in your data set. So now let's first create a temporary function. So to create a temporary function, we already did the show functions to see what are the inbuilt functions we have in Hive. We have connected to Beeline or Hive CLI. We are using Beeline for now. Then we would be adding the jar, right? So the jar which we got out of the Eclipse, you need to just bring it to one of the cluster node where we have the Hive client. So mine is under the slash. I have already loaded it, and then you just need to do a create temporary function. So this is the syntax to create the temporary function. So you just do create temporary function, the name of the temporary function, and the package name, which is hive underscore UDF in my case, and the name of the class. So if you seen the Eclipse Java code, it had the class as lower, right? And this is how you would call the function. So just do a select lower underscore letter, which is the name of the function. The column name, so colors is one of the name of my column in the table deck of cards, right? So let's do this. So first I will just do a list jars, just to show you that there is no jars which has been added currently. So you can see it's completely empty. Let me add it. So the jar is added. Let's do the list again. Now we can see the specific jar has been loaded for this particular session. So temporary function, the function which you would be creating, the jar file which you would be loading would only be there for that particular Beeline session. So once you come out of the Beeline session, the function would be destroyed and the jar file would be unloaded. So that's how it is. So now let's create the function. My function is also created. Now let me just show you the sample data which I have, right? So deck of cards is the sample table. So as you can see, all the columns, so the first and the second column, they have all the uh, data in capitals. So I would be trying to convert them to the lower with the UDF which I have just created, right? So let's do that. So I am passing the column color in this case. As you can see, the complete column has been converted to a lowercase. So in case if you want to revert this, not revert, if you want to just create another table and just store this data, you could just probably use a ctas and then create another table and just pass this data set to the new table, right? So we can see that the function has been created. All good. Now let me just come out of the beeline and let's see what happens. So I'm out of the beeline. Let's go in. So I'm connected. I have used the database cards. Let's try and list the jars. As I see, there is no jars which is currently loaded. So the previous step when we added the jar, we can clearly say that that holds up only for that particular session. And let's see if the function works. So this is it. See, it failed. So this is because the lower underscore letter doesn't exist at all. So the function itself has been destroyed once the beeline session has been destroyed, right? So if you don't want this basically to happen, in that particular case, you will try and create a permanent function, right? So let's see how does that looks. So when you try to create a permanent function, you basically would load the jar to a HDFS location, right? Uh, as it will be shared across the all the nodes of your cluster. So in temporary function, the jar which I loaded was in the local cluster node. So for permanent function, we loaded it under the HDFS location. So here in this case, I have just loaded it under the /UDF, and I have just changed the ownership as Hive Hadoop and just given the necessary permissions. Once it's done, you need to just add this particular parameter, which is hiveux jars.path in your Hive configuration under the hive site.xml as follows. So you just need to specify the complete HDFS location. So in my case, it's the /UDF, and /star means whatever jars. So that might be multiple UDF you would be creating, right? So which would consist of multiple jar files. So all the jar files would have the access over here. So just to create the function, create the permanent function, you should be able to load all the necessary jars. So we use the /star over here, and the syntax will just change a little. So you just remove the temporary keyword, you just use create function, the name of the function, which is lower one in my case, as hive underscore UDF, which is the name of the package, dot the name of the class, which is lower over here, and then using jars with the actual location for the jar, which is under UDF HDFS directory, right? And then you simply call the function the exact same way how we did it in the temporary functions, right? So let me quickly just show you where do I have added it. So here I just go to Hive configs. So that parameter would by default not exist in your Hive configuration, so you will have to add it under the custom hive site.xml. Just click on advanced. So I have added it even under the custom Hive env, but that's not necessary. So you could just add it under the custom Hive site as hiveux jar.paths as the HDFS colon triple forward slash UDF slash star. So once this is done, it will ask you for a Hive restart. Once it's done, all the jars inside this particular directory would be loaded by the Hive server 2, and then would be further be useful for loading it when you try to create a permanent function. So let me just quickly show you. So I already have a permanent function created. Let me just do that. So I'm back to the terminal. As you can see, I have no jars for now. Okay, it says it already exists. But now you can see that when I try to create that function, I have the lower UDF1.jar which we created loaded under the /tmp. So it's temporarily been loaded and it's actually ready for use. So if you just do, it would actually give you the results. So all my uppercase uh, data has been converted to a lowercase data. So that's how it is. Even if you just do a show functions as well over here, you would see that function, the permanent function which you created. So you can see the cards.lower and the cards.lower one. So these are the two permanent functions which I created, right? So you would be able to view that as a output for the show functions. So this is the sample Java code. You probably can just take a screenshot of it and later try and just create your own UDF. So I'm just using the Eclipse just for the purpose, as it's quite, I personally felt it was quite easy for me to use it. You could just use the Java C, the command line interface, to write your own Java program and just compile it and then create the jar file out of it, or any such similar tools, right? So that is it, guys. I hope you liked this video and it was really useful. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video.